Hey guys, so welcome back to another writing vlog. Last time I did one of these, you guys really seemed to like it, especially those of you who are writers. And my cat is drinking my water. Thank you, Hamlet. That's lovely. I'll leave a link if you guys want to check out my first writing vlog first, just to sort of see my progress before I made it this far in my book. But right now, of course, I'm in the last part still, and I'm getting so close to a final draft. In fact, this goes as planned. This writing vlog will take you right to the end of that draft, so we will see how that goes. I'm working up actually to one of the most climactic moments. I have probably another 2 little peaks. The last peak being like the big, you know, final ending bit. And I have it pretty well mapped out. There's still a few little things that I need to figure out. And if you hear clicking in the background, it's my cat now deciding my pencil's a toy. In my last session, I actually had to do something that I've never had to do to that extent before. Let me explain. I actually left a little Instagram story about this. If you guys saw that, you know already what I'm talking about. But I went through a few chapters. It wasn't as long as what I originally thought it was, but it was a good little chunk where I did not mention a couple of characters that were actually in the same setting as where I was, but I sort of got focused on a couple of main characters and a couple of specific things that I was trying to do with those scenes, and I kind of forgot to even include the other 2 characters, even though naturally they would have been around somewhere. So my last session was not actually progress forward, unfortunately. It was going back through my past couple of chapters and trying to sort of weave those characters in as much as possible to be natural. And it turned out that it wasn't as bad as what I thought. It really had just been because it was over Christmas break and stuff when I was working on those chapters, so the progress was slower, so it felt like an eternity since I'd written those characters, but it turned out it wasn't so bad after all. So that happened. That was the first time that's happened to that extent, at least. Now I'm ready to make some progress forward, and hopefully my next several sessions can be some serious progress forward. I can make some big strides, and you know, it's a draft, it's not supposed to be the final draft, so if I end up having to go back and edit stuff, that's cool. I'm really terrible about that. I've mentioned that several times. I'm the type of writer who edits as I go, and that only works to some extent. But if I notice something that's a problem, like this character thing that I had, some writers might be tempted just to be like, I'll come back to that later, you know, make a note and then come back to it in a future draft. But for me, that's not the way I roll. I noticed it and immediately I wanted to fix it. And instead of going back and editing, I thought, you know, let's just do it now. That's the kind of writer I am. So it does make like your first like really full draft, it makes it a lot more complicated to reach because you constantly want to edit. But anyway, that being said, it is time to stop vlogging now and get writing. Hey guys, so it is after work on a Thursday and I'm about to start another writing session. I'm really tired today. I didn't sleep very much because my little kitten has been keeping me up, but I've decided to go ahead and give a writing session a try tonight and just not put too much pressure on myself, but I would like to make some progress forward. One thing that is going to be a little bit of an issue in tonight's session, and that is the scenes in between the good scenes. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, every scene in a book you want to be interesting, you want it to obviously be useful and to be essential to the plot, otherwise why put it in there? It also should be entertaining to some extent because, you know, the reader doesn't just want to be given the plot, they also want to be entertained. That's why you read a book. But of course, still, there are some scenes that are really great and really cool and really fun to read and or to write. And then there are those other scenes that just kind of come in between that need to be there and that are as exciting as they possibly can be, but just for a natural ebb and flow of the book, they have to be kind of the less interesting ebb and flow part. And that is what I'm about to embark on tonight. Woo, fun. Being a writer is so glamorous, you guys. This is obviously not something that's unique to the end parts of the book. This is something that exists all the way throughout the book. Just, you know, there's constantly, like I said, this ebb and flow. But I feel like it's getting even more challenging to deal with as I'm getting closer to the end of the book, because I'm sensing that I'm almost there, and I'm sensing these climactic moments are coming, these moments that I've been planning for so long, and I'm finally actually getting to write them. And then I have to be stuck on this little in-between scene that I have to get out, and I have to write well, and I have to make interesting, and that's even probably more challenging to make interesting. But you have to still give it your best, and there has to be a writing session or 2 or 3 or 10 that are devoted to making that a good scene. And those, my friends, are the toughest ones. So that is what I'm about to embark on right now. I'm gonna make some tea, probably not coffee. It's a little bit too late for caffeine right now. So I'm gonna go now and hopefully write something interesting. I have just written about 1,500 words right now. It's Saturday, so I started the day with recording a video, editing a video a bit, and then I wrote for a while. But I've just been feeling so on fire for my story right now. Seriously, it's so exciting because I mean, I've never lost the fire for writing at all. Like I've always been passionate about it, even when I've gone through slumps. It's not that my passion for writing has gone down. It's just, you know, motivation and inspiration and all that, you know. But I have just noticed I've been so motivated to write. I wake up thinking about my book. I am like walking down the street and I think about my book, and I come home and I have all this energy to write. I think I've written 4 times this week, and every one of those sessions has been a lot of words too, like 1,500 probably minimum, I think, or maybe 1,300 one of those. And then one of them was 2,000 words yesterday actually. And I wrote another 1,500 today. I am struggling a little bit though, because as inspired as I am and as happy with my story as in general as I am, I have just sort of come to the realization in this last little session that I'm not sure I like the sort of arc or how I've developed the arc of my protagonist. Kind of a big problem. I mean, it's not like a big problem because the character is still developing overall how I want. It's just the past few scenes, how I've been writing them. It's kind of hit me that I feel like maybe things are a bit too passive, because my protagonist, I'm not gonna say too much about it just right now, but she's not a passive person. Obviously development has happened and stuff and things have changed, but I just don't want her to become too much, like too passive. I think I'm getting a little bit swept up in the plot, and that's sort of pushing my characters around, including her, and I don't want that to be quite so like prominent. So I've taken a little break. I haven't entered in my entry yet, my word count for today, because part of me is like, let's write more. I want to write more. And another part of me is like, you need to stop and limit yourself. I really don't want to burn myself out. I have done this in the past before where I've had multiple sessions a week, gotten really into it, and then just had a phase where I hit a block and I stop, and then it's very difficult to get back into it. So I do need to pace myself. So I am going to get a little bit of food because it's 3 p.m. and I haven't eaten anything for lunch, and that's late even for French standards. So I'm gonna get a bit of food, and that might help my brain liven up. And then I think I'll actually make the informed decision if I'm going to continue to write today or if I'm just gonna put it away and give myself a bit of a break. Okay, spoiler alert, I did go back to writing and I've discovered that food is a magical cure, because I got my word count up to almost 2,000 for today, and I have a cat. He's been so cuddly. He's been laying on my lap and making it very difficult to write, and yet I've still succeeded. And apparently I'm not good enough anymore now. Anyway, food is a magical thing because I took a break, played with my cat a little bit and worked off some of his energy. Obviously that was successful. And then I went back to it and I ended up scratching some of the bit that I'd written before, rethinking a bit, going back, and I did a keyword search for a word that's related to something that I'm writing about at this moment and that I was kind of confused about, and that was one of the things that was causing trouble. Did a keyword search, found all the times that I had mentioned it. Well, most of the times. I don't have time to go back through every time I've mentioned it. But anyway, I searched a lot of the times I'd mentioned it and just sort of refreshed my memory on how I worked it in before and what I'd said about it, and I don't know, I had a couple breakthroughs, and then I continued from there, and I wrote partway into the next scene. So yeah, I am feeling really good, and now I feel like this is where the writing session's supposed to end. Sometimes it's natural, other times it's not, but I feel like you get this vibe sometimes, this kind of feeling when you've written to your fullest. You don't write out all your energy. You're not like, that was so difficult and I've spent out, you know, all my energy and all my emotion or, you know, inspiration or whatever for the day. It's not that. It's just the feeling of, this is where this session needs to end. I'm good, I've said what I need to say today. Tomorrow's gonna be a great day, or the next day, or, you know, whenever I have my next session. It was a good session, I'm ready to go again in a day or two. It's a really good feeling. I don't get it every session, but I'm going to savor it now. So I'm probably gonna get some more work done in other ways, like YouTube-y ways, or French practice, or maybe I'll just play with my cat, I don't know. But it was a good day, and I feel good. All right, it is Sunday afternoon, February 18th, and I've just finished my first draft. It feels so weird. It actually hasn't quite sunk in, I don't think, but I'm sort of like this mixture of relieved and happy and excited, and yeah, just then the other part of me that it hasn't sunk in yet. So I've been writing since like late morning, and I wrote through the early afternoon, so a good several hours of a session there. I think my total word count was 3,500 something, and I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm a little bit sick right now. But yeah, I have finished my draft, finally. It's actually kind of weird because I was looking back through my word counts, and I started taking a log of all my word counts last February, and now this February it's done, like the entire draft. I've written almost 100,000 words, in a year, which is not too bad considering I have a full-time job and I've still kept up with YouTube somehow. Not to mention the cat, who has also been a time-consuming little addition recently. For those of you guys who don't know, this is a project I started a few years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, but it kind of got put on hold when I was doing my master's and when I was looking for work and stuff. So I've put basically the majority of my effort into it this past year. And about a year ago today, almost exactly, I had about 25,000 words. And now the final word count of the draft, keep in mind this is not the final draft, but the word count I'm at right now, where I am right now, is 121,737. Considering it's young adult fantasy, I don't think that's too long or short. If anything, it's probably on the longer side, but I think that's generally acceptable for fantasy. But I'm gonna have to do a bit more research about that. And I also don't know about what's gonna happen in revisions. Maybe I'll have stuff I needed to add that I didn't think about, but then also a lot of times I know that you end up cutting in revisions. So we will see. I have no idea what the final word count's gonna end up being. But right now I have my 3rd novel finished. My first one that I feel like is really like, it feels like a good novel to me. It does have some work that needs to be done, but I'm definitely the most proud of this one out of all of my works so far. And yeah, it's 121,000. It's definitely my longest as well of all the 3 that I've written. I'm so excited, and it's terrible, but I'm already thinking of like a sequel idea that just kind of like it was in my head before, but it really started developing little bits and pieces as I was finishing up the last chapter, and I need to just stop because revisions have to happen of this before I want to start working on a sequel. If I even do work on a sequel, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Point being though, the draft is finished and the feeling is amazing. I don't think there really could be a more perfect place to end this writing vlog on this time. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope that this has been an interesting vlog for you. I don't even really remember all the sessions that I'm gonna put in this writing vlog, but I hope this vlog did make some sense and has some sort of like narrative to it of its own. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this vlog and if you want more in the future, especially as I go into revisions. I have no idea exactly what this is gonna be like. I have revised my other novels before, but not as intensely as I'm kind of planning on doing this one. I am going to take a little bit of a break before I start my revisions. I figure I'll take a few weeks and then be able to come back and look at it with fresh eyes in a few weeks. But then at that point, if I start revisions and you guys want me to continue to vlog, then I would, yeah, I've really enjoyed doing this vlog. I really enjoyed the last one. So just let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing. As always, anytime I talk about my writing, I would love you guys to leave me in the comments how your projects are going, whether it's novel writing or some other type of writing or some other type of creative adventure. I would just love to know how it's going. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'm gonna stop talking now and save the little bit of voice that I have. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon in another video.